I love that girl. All right. So with me today, I have two very special guests. I have the Director of Fitness and Unified Strategies at Special Olympics Ohio, Josh Messersmith. Say hi, Josh. How's
Hey.
it going? And then, not to be outdone, we have the man himself, the Director of Youth Football for the Cleveland Browns. Do you like people calling you DK the first time they meet you, or do you got to earn that?
It depends on who you are, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, Darrel Taylor, thank you both for joining me today. We're
Thank
really
you. Thank you
excited
for
to
having me.
talk about this project that our three organizations worked on in conjunction with one another. That actually, we won the 2021 PPAI Silver Pyramid Award in Client Programs for Social Responsibility as a result of this project that our three organizations worked on together. And the thing that we want to just preface before we talk about the program itself, the award we won was for the 2019 version of what happened, which was in person. But 2020 was done safely and virtually, and we'll talk about that and kind of how that was weird and what went along. But this dates back to the 2019 program, so don't anybody think that we endangered anyone, okay? So, hey, Darrel, knowing that you have this passion for football and that you're working for the Browns, it doesn't necessarily lend itself immediately to the fact that how did we end up with Special Olympics? But you have a kind of a personal connection with Special Olympics. So why don't you speak on that?
So absolutely. So my role with Special Olympics, I worked with Special Olympics Florida for about 2 years, from I believe 2015 to 2017. And I was responsible for Unified Champion Schools. At the time, it was called Project Unify. And so my role was to work with schools to unify them through sports. And so with sports being a passion of mine and giving back to the community and the special needs community as well, it was just a perfect opportunity to do something I love from a sports standpoint, as well as make a difference in our community.
Yeah, it's so amazing to know that when we can organize our activities around something that's bigger than all of us, right? And that's really in both Special Olympics itself, but even sports as something that we do. It's
Right.
one of those few things that, regardless of your race, creed, color, national origin, whatever it is, we all love our teams,
Yeah.
And by being able to integrate something that we all love and then teach a lesson in the process, I mean, that it was really super cool. So before we let you go and we move to Josh, I just talk about your role with the Browns and what do you specifically do there with respect to the community and how the team wants to engage?
Yeah, so with my title, Director of Youth Football, it seems to be pretty self-explanatory, but it actually is a wide variety of things that we do. I'm under the community relations umbrella, so we do a lot within the community, a lot of grassroots, with the goal of increasing youth sports participation, whether that is helping with coaches' education, helping with officials, helping find opportunities for kids to be able to play football, whether that's flag football, tackle football, etc. So the biggest part is the education of the game, as well as eliminating barriers. So we create programming based on the needs of our community to make sure that every kid has a fair opportunity to play the game that we love.
That's so awesome. Makes my heart warm just thinking about it. Um, Typically, when you're involved in things like this, you can't really come at it without your whole heart. So speak to how does this for you from a passion perspective? Like where does this touch you?
Yeah, so I actually started playing football at the age of 6, and I fell in love with the game of football. I fell in love with sports in general, and so just having the opportunity to work for a professional sports team where it gives you the platform and the opportunity to give back, doing something that you absolutely love. It's the best of both worlds, and being in the community relations department, knowing that the biggest opportunity is to make an impact in the community, whereas the game of football, as you mentioned earlier, is a unifier. So the huddle, the locker room, that's color, creed, race, religion, etc. And that to me is what makes this job worthwhile.
Yeah, we were talking about before we came on camera about how pro sports are kind of a study in organizational behavior. And when you see an organization like the Browns so invested in the community, it really speaks to the bond that the organization has with the people who support it. And I mean, I can tell you from my own personal experience that doesn't exist everywhere. So to know that you guys have built a program that allows for that weaving of the culture of the community to be tied even tighter to the organization it's such a great example that I think we hope, right, that more organizations are going to start to recognize and want to replicate. So Josh, let's talk about the event itself. You were really instrumental in making sure that that event, when it actually came to happen, came off without a hitch. So talk about the exposure that you guys have gotten as a result of that and kind of what your experience was with it.
So we first approached Darrel and the community relations team at the Browns, with this dream of a flag football league, the first of its kind across the nation. And so we came there, and it's my job is to sell the dream and to sell the opportunity, and then go to Social Good Promotions and say, I need help making this happen. And so it really did take a village to pull this off and to pull all of our strengths together to do this. And we initially planned to have a pilot of 3 to 5 teams, easy going. We'll start small, we'll be good to go. And I put out the feelers across the board, and we got 9 teams, and we're going to do a whole tournament from the beginning, and we're going to start it now. And we hit the ground running fast. We've made huge strides. We learned our lessons on some of the things that we had to, which is great. But it's great when we get to work with people like the Browns, all of their staff, all of Social Good Promotion staff, and truly understand that we're doing this for a bigger cause, like you guys talked about. And as Darrel was giving his take on this, it truly made me realize, the Browns, they encourage us, and they show us that they're passionate about this, and it makes us even more passionate and understanding why we do this. And so it's so inspiring to see that a lot of the times across the country, many of the Special Olympics programs partners with professional sports teams, and it's kind of a one-off event, and it's a one time a year. The press comes, and it's all this stuff. Our organizations are integrated together. We are partnered for the future. We're looking to make as large of strides as we can, because Special Olympics is for everyone, Unified's for everyone. We're seeing this program alone open up doors for us with other professional sports organizations, for other donors. We're getting that international coverage through Special Olympics, that we're getting that recognition to, hey, big things are coming, and they're coming from Cleveland, and it's don't count us out, right? That was one of the things when the Browns are going through the playoffs. It was, don't count us out. We still want more. And that's what the city of Cleveland is demanding. Special Olympics is demanding that now. And it's progressed into unified basketball. We're looking at developing a football skills competition, the first of its kind across the board. And when we tell these things to our donors, or to Special Olympics International, or North America, or the Department of Education, the fact that we can say we have a partner with the Cleveland Browns, it legitimizes everything that we get to do. Sometimes that's our biggest struggle with Special Olympics, is to be considered a legitimate sport organization. But when you have a partner like the Cleveland Browns, like Social Good Promotions, it just continues to legitimize what we're doing. And that's the best thing we could ask for. It's one of the greatest things about my job, is to see that we are making a true difference for the revolution of inclusion. Watch out, it's coming. So, yeah.
So here's where I'll play the role of the skeptic in the interview. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we know that there are personality types that would suggest to themselves, when they're listening to what we're talking about, oh yeah, right, I'm sure that just was all window dressing, and it really wasn't what they're saying it is. And the kids, the able-bodied kids, they're not going to want to do that stuff with the kids from Special Olympics. Speak about the actual event day itself and what you guys witnessed when it came to those groups of people coming together for the event.
I'll give you an example of the aftermath of that. So yes, there are skeptics everywhere, and they say, prove it. We have a school that they did a send off, and it was a big deal. But as soon as the other students, the other staff, the other schools saw that their athletes were on TV, they were on the news, they got to meet Baker Mayfield, they got to be at the training facility, they got to be a part of that, they became local celebrities. And now we actually have, at one of our schools, we have a wait list for partners. So for typical students, we have a wait list to be on the unified football team, because they see that, hey, it's not just for people with disabilities, it is for all of us. And maybe I'll get to do this, or maybe I'll get to be a part of this team. It's not, Special Olympics isn't necessarily for that varsity athlete.
Right.
It's for that person that is looking for a purpose and looking for somewhere that they can find their tribe, find their crew, find their friends, build relationships, and to truly gain the sense of empathy that sometimes we lose when we're so segregated and we're so, everyone is kind of going down their own path. Special Olympics is truly bringing the empathy back to the classroom, to the school. And we're seeing it right now. The athletes that are graduating and going on to college are already have a different skill set than a lot of the adults that are in there. So we are creating a more inclusive society, honestly, one football game at a time, because it's the amount of impact that we had after the jersey reveal into the season was tremendous. And now, we've taken it from 9 schools to hopefully next fall we'll have 15. We have 15 signed up, but as long as things stay on the path they're going, we're looking at kicking off a football league again. So we're making huge strides, and I would challenge anyone that says, that's not real, to come out and watch an event.
Yeah.
Go to school and see this. Come out and see it happen, because as soon as you're there, you're hooked.
Absolutely. And as Josh mentioned, from a Browns perspective, we had pretty much the entire staff down, including ownership, was a part of the event to recognize these athletes and really to be amazed about the athleticism, the passion from the athletes, as well as the partners and the coaches, these volunteer coaches who come out to be a part of the program. So we were amazed, and therein lies the complete submersion of the entire organization going forward as being a part of Special Olympics Ohio.
And I'm sure that was a bit of an eye-opener given the players that were participating in the event, right? I mean, you guys had some of your biggest names that were participating in the event that day. Just speak on that a little bit.
Yeah, and it all starts with the quarterback. Just like on the football field, you're led by your quarterback, who's your captain, your leader. And our quarterback, Baker Mayfield, led at least 11 players out to be a part of it. And we initially had the players just wanting to introduce them to the Special Olympics athletes, but we had Baker step up, say, I want to MC the event. I want to be a part of this because this is bigger than myself. This is bigger than what we're trying to do as an organization. We want to make an impact in our community.
So awesome. And for us, as the producer of branded materials, right? Our industry has a tendency sometimes to be labeled in the afterthought purchase kind of category. But yet for us, what we really enjoyed in working with the two organizations was you guys really wanted that to be a memorable experience for the people who were participating. And when promotional marketing items are used thoughtfully and in a way that is integrated into the overall objective of the event, it goes from being an afterthought purchase to being a commemorative of the event and something that those participants will most likely hold on to for until they forget that they did it, right? I mean, there's something about a jersey, something about a t-shirt from something that you attended that really has a passionate reminder for you in your heart and your mind that keeps that piece of apparel or that hat in your possession for years, decades sometimes, right? I mean, we've got things, we all have things that have a logo on it from something like that. And one of the beautiful things about sports is more often than not, people love to show their affiliation with their team. So by creating this opportunity to move that affiliation down to the youth level and then associate it with the professional franchise, if I was teaching a marketing class, I would tell you that that's like 401 level marketing, because what you're really doing is you're creating that passion tie for the people who are participating in a way that, like, the Bengals aren't going to come in and steal these Browns fans now. It's not going to happen. Right. So
Right.
knowing that
I
we
think
were engaged in that kind of way made it so that we too were invested in, like, hey, these jerseys have to be off the hook. Right.
They were.
I think that was the great thing, that we sat down and we decided the jersey is a big deal. You know, that's where we're going to invest a lot, because we want that jersey to be similar to their varsity athletics. We want our unified team to be as ingrained in school culture as possible. We even got to the point at one time when we were going back and forth, was we don't have to put the Special Olympics logo on there, because it's not about the Browns. It's not about Special Olympics. It's about making that athlete from Cleveland School, from Avon, from Rocky River, feel like they're a part of their athletic team and feel like they are a part of their high school, because you only get that experience for so long.
Right.
Special Olympics will always be here. The Browns will always be there once you're no longer an Avon Eagle. You know, as soon as you graduate, we're here to capture you. But it was great that we got to work, again, with great partners, that we could tie all of that together and throw the flair of the brown stripes in there, the Special Olympics unified logo on there. But it was truly about, like you said, giving that athlete the opportunity to be a part of their school, high school team. It's their high school colors. They took so much pride in representing their school that right there, even if we didn't play one game, that was the best opportunity that we could have provided them, because they felt included. And it was a legitimate opportunity for them to feel included, and to feel recognized, and to feel able to be a part of those type of things.
And even having the athletic director from Avon High School be a part of it. So all the athletes were treated the same, whether you were the varsity football player or you're a Special Olympics athlete, you got the same love and respect from your athletic director. And that speaks volume.
Yeah, that's so good. Like, oh, it's like the epitome of when we do it right. And we only won a silver. We got to see what happened with this gold medal winner, right? Like,
Right.
I thought we did pretty well, but we'll take our silver. Don't get me wrong. We're competitors. It just makes us want to work that much harder next year, right? So, but let's talk about what happened in 2020, because COVID. So can't have an in-person event. So how'd you guys manage your way through that?
So, you know, I think we came to the table and we stayed positive of, we're going to have a football season. You know, we have so much momentum moving forward. What are we going to do? And we held out for the longest time that we're going to have a season. And then, you know, everything happened, and we decided quickly that even though we can't have a season, we're going to create an at-home skills opportunity that an athlete can do while they're at home with their team, socially distant. And we engaged the Browns to help produce those videos, come up with the skills, and bring out some Browns alumni to help kick off that event. And so it really went off great that we got to continue our momentum. We expanded into those 15 schools, like I said. And now we have so much of a larger reach, because now we have now built a base to where we will have athletes that progress onto a team, but there will be other athletes that aren't ready for a team. So they can still be at the skills level. And that's going to allow us to bridge that gap from elementary to middle to high school. So we truly took a kind of a bad situation and turned it into a learning process that we're going to be able to, hit the ground running. Once we're back to normal, we're going to be able to tweak a little bit of things and truly make a base and a building practice that we're going to take all across Ohio. Like you said, I don't know how Cincinnati's going to like me having that Browns logo on there, but there's going to be Browns fans all over the state. But that approach is now going nationwide. We have states calling us. We have our Special Olympics affiliates in North America and international calling us and asking us what we're doing and how we're making this work and what are we doing in a pandemic. And I'm saying we're being creative. Right. We're not sitting back and waiting for someone else to create something for us. We're creating it. And I keep saying it, but it's truly because of great partners that we're able to do that. I am good at event day, making things happen on the day, writing the check. But truly it's Darrel coming up with helping us with the stations that we could do, the skills that we do, the equipment that we'll need. It's being able to bounce those ideas back and forth and having that open communication that really makes everything that we do succeed across the board.
And I got to assume, Darrel, that when you approached the alumni about this opportunity, that must have been pretty special.
Absolutely. We approached one of the best, Josh Cribbs, Browns legend, Josh Cribbs, Kent State alum, and he was full go. He was 100% ready to participate, ready, willing, and able. He came out ready to go, almost full gear. We gave him a custom jersey, and he was, he spent time with the athletes. So more than just the teaching and the being able to instruct them on various skills, whether that was quarterback, running back, etc. He spent time with them to talk through very specific drills, etc. And he's been a NFL coach, he's been a high school coach, a youth coach, and he treated these athletes just the same. And that was the best part. He understood exactly his role, and he took that role to the next level. So we're really proud to have Josh represent us doing this video production.
Yeah, I'll give kudos to both organizations for your willingness to dig in. There were other people who historically have done in-person events that kind of took a pause last year. And the fact that you guys were willing to roll up your sleeves and figure out a way, and that not only were you able to salvage the year, but you were actually able to create a building block on the foundation that you had already laid is so key, that you're able now to add that additional layer of participation at younger age groups, which will only continue to fuel the pipeline of participation going forward. Congratulations to you both. Okay, so looked at the past, we talked about COVID. Give me some hints at the future. What can we expect from the program here going forward?
So through our partnership with the Browns, we set up that team aspect, and we set up a skills portion to be able to help our athletes while they're at home. And so we're like, we never want to go after something as a Band-Aid approach. We want to do something that is sustainable, and that we've invested a lot of money in this. We want to make sure that it is sustainable for the future. And so what we are working on right now is a skills competition that will be able to be applied from kindergarten until the adult. And so we're looking at piloting and creating and piloting the first of its kind, individual football skills competition. Many states have some versions of it, but we're looking at creating a cohesive approach that will be able to be applied to youth, young adults, and our older population also. So these are things that aren't just going to be in our unified champion schools. It's going to be in things that are at our state football competition. It'll be at things that are all across the state for flag football. But I think the biggest takeaway that we had from this is it's now allowed Special Olympics Ohio to look at things a little different, and to see that team aspect is great. But what about those athletes that aren't ready for a team? Mm-hmm. And so now we're coming up with basketball skills, soccer skills. We're coming up with softball skills, and then working on the progressive model, because we believe that truly if we can make inclusion normalized at the elementary level, by the time that athlete graduates and is in college and becomes an adult, it's normalized. It's mm-hmm. typical to be included, and we won't have to work as hard. And in theory, we're working ourselves out of a job, but that's what we want. That is the end goal, is to eventually not have to have so much effort into this and make a normal situation. So I think the future truly is bright for our partnership. I'm excited to see where this goes. I hope that we can get back to those in-person events because we're ready. We are ready to kick this off again and keep that momentum going, even from the base that we put down during the pandemic.
What about you, Darrel? Where you see this thing heading? You're going to end up with all 60 men roster showing up to participate in the next event.
Yeah, we want to host championships at our facilities. We want to be a part of the mission of Special Olympics Unified Champion Schools moving forward. So not just the one-time event that took place inside the indoor training facility, but we want to utilize the fields that we have outdoor as well to have our players involved, whether that's as a coach or just as a cheerleader, just having the entire organization support what we're doing with Special Olympics Ohio. So we're definitely excited about moving forward. Our alumni are excited, as well as our staff. As I mentioned, ownership on down came to the last event, and they've definitely been a driving force behind what we're trying to do with Special Olympics in the future.
And Roger, I think what's truly special about our relationship here and our partnership is that it is from the top down, from Special Olympics Internationals level down. They're pumped up for our possibilities that we have here. You know, they're excited for our relationship that we have with the Browns, because that's not typical across the board. You know, we have a very unique partnership and a unique outlook on our partnership, to truly know that we're not in it for, you know, just to get an event off that's in the news, you know, and makes us all look good. We're in it to change lives. We're in it to bring opportunity to the community and to truly show people that Cleveland's on the map for a lot of things. And watch out, Special Olympics Unified Sports is coming at you.
Hey, Darrel, Josh said something really key in the beginning part of our discussion. He said his responsibility was to sell the dream. Josh, you're not only selling the dream, you're making the dream come true, my friend. And we're very proud to be a part of your diligence and your vision to make this thing be what it's become. And we cannot wait to see what else unfolds here for not only the Browns and for Special Olympics Ohio, but where else we might be able to take this program around the country as people start to become more aware of what's already in place and the partnership that already exists. Because I think we all know that it's a lot easier to replicate something great that somebody else did than to start something great for yourself. So by giving ourselves the opportunity to share this with the world in a way that people can find it, what we're hoping is that we can accelerate this dream and make it come to fruition even that much more quickly. So on behalf of Social Good Promotions, I want to thank you guys. Thanks so much for coming on and talking to us about this today. It really meant a lot to me.
Thanks, Roger.
Thanks, Roger. We appreciate it.